Well, here we are sitting in the MTP Software Studios. My name is Jeffrey Davis, and this is Radio Entrepreneurs, always dedicated to the success and the promotion of entrepreneurship. Our next guest, Ross Bradshaw, founder and CEO of Nudia. Wow, what's the deal with Nudia?
So we are one of the state's economic empowerment applicants that have been certified by the State Cannabis Control Commission. Essentially what that means is that we are an organization that's dedicated to improving communities that have been disproportionately impacted by high rates of arrests of marijuana, for marijuana prohibition. We are looking to operate, or we have received a host agreement to operate a retail license in the city of Worcester, and we're also looking for 2 other locations for our retail establishments.
Wow. And why you? Well, you probably know why you. That's why we want to ask you that.
So for that specific designation, is because I come from a community that has been disproportionately impacted by marijuana arrest and incarceration. A certain section of Worcester, I was born and I was raised in one of those communities. In addition to that, our team is majority of our ownership is made of African American or Latino entrepreneurs. In addition to that, we have specific business practices that are going to give back and improve those communities. So those are 3 of the criteria that we had met that were designated by the state.
Wow. And so give us how far along in the process are you?
Yeah, so I've actually been involved in the cannabis industry outside of Nudia for about 8 years. First as a CPA, working with a number of other smaller ancillary cannabis companies. And then as an advocate fighting for equity when it comes to the cannabis industry. A lot of folks, as you know, or a lot of companies, as you know, that are coming into this space are publicly traded companies, large operations, and so I've been fighting and advocating for small business ownership for a number of years now. And so Nudia, being a small business, has really taken a grassroots approach in working with our community and working with different municipalities, and we have gone through the first major hurdle that, as of today, I believe there's only been 4 economic empowerment applicants that have received host agreements in the entire state. So, that's been a huge feat for us, and the next feat for us is going forward to the state licensing committee to receive our provisional approval.
Sorry, excuse me. What's your background?
So my background, I started out actually as an auditor for PwC, which is a Big 4 accounting firm. I worked with a lot of hospitals,
Did consulting for them. I did.
Oh, you did? Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I did. I was a consultant to the firm.
It was the best way to start a career. I don't think it was for me long term. I was definitely not on the partner track, as I would say. But for me, it was a great way to get my foot in the door and to get a significant amount of exposure to business. From there, I actually worked at Bose Corporation as the internal auditor in Framingham, not too far from here.
We've also done consulting there over the years.
And then I also worked at Cognex, which is, I think, about a mile or so down the road. I worked there for about 1.5 years as part of
You're just trying to find places that my firm has never done consulting in.
Yeah, so that has been my more traditional background. But
so
then
you're a finance guy.
Finance guy, without a doubt. I am a CPA,
Right.
and that's kind of what led me into this cannabis industry, and it kind of spun off into the advocacy portion of my background, which is more tied to my roots and my community that I grew up in.
And so you're originally from Worcester?
Correct.
Still living in Worcester?
Yep, just moved back about a year ago. I lived here in Natick and I lived in Boston for a while. I actually lived in Colorado, so I'm experienced with how recreational marijuana rolls out in communities and how it affects a state. I lived there for about a year and a half in Boulder, Colorado, and yes, now back here in Worcester.
But Worcester, Worcester has got on an upswing, isn't it, with the baseball and the new stadium and the whole downtown core?
Yeah, without a doubt, I've never seen anything like it, and that's why we're extremely excited to be in the community. Not only do they have I guess the name is still to be determined. Let's say Worcester Woo Sox for now. In addition to that, they have the cannabis industry coming to the community, and that's going to be huge. And I've also heard rumors some other big companies looking to move their headquarters to the city as well.
Oh, it would be great if we had high-speed rail, because it would be a great garden community for Boston.
Yes.
Like a lot of other cities internationally have done that don't want to lose the millennials.
Yeah,
They
transportation
can't
is
afford
going to
the
be
core.
a huge
Yeah.
aspect to that. So
Yeah, high-speed rail would be nice, but I don't have my fingers crossed. So how are you financing all of this?
So luckily, my background is in finance. So
Yeah, but you didn't come with the money, right? You have to
No,
find the money.
I come from. I grew up in a community that is considered low income community. I was fortunate enough, however, as being a small business owner, to have a background in finance and being a CPA. And then living in Colorado, I had the opportunity to work with some of the largest cultivators, manufacturers, and investors in the cannabis industry. I actually was you're familiar with Techstars or like a Y Combinator?
Right.
The first cannabis accelerator in the world goes by the name of Canopy Boulder, and they started up in 2015. I was part of their first class in which they basically took the same approach as these accelerators to invest in small businesses to help build their brand, help build their business background. So I've done this in the cannabis space for about 4 or 5 years now. Unfortunately, as you probably know, is you can't go to a bank for traditional loans. So a lot of the times it requires going to VCs or individuals that are family offices or mom and pop types of funds. So that's traditionally the type of financing that you'll see in the space.
So, yeah, using the next year as a calendar for you, what are the milestones you need to progress through for over the next year to get where you need to go?
Yep. So the first milestone would be receiving our provisional license from the State Cannabis Control Commission. After that, it becomes the build out of the actual operation. What do your security plans look like? What is your community impact plans? How are you going to ensure to your city and municipality that you are going to be a good operator? And then from there, it's receiving the final license. And then I guess the biggest milestone for most operations is day one of opening your doors, in which we hope with Nudia to open our doors by the end of this year.
Oh, very nice. Everybody, we've been speaking with Ross Bradshaw, correct? Founder and CEO of Nudia. And Ross, if somebody was looking for you and wanted to get involved, help you out, just learn more about it, everything, how would they find you at Nudia?
Yeah, obviously by email, ross@nudia.co, and then also nudia.co is our website.
And you're going to come back because we have our cannabis shows, correct?
I would love to.
Yeah, we've probably already been on the line with Walter talking to him about you, so stay tuned. There's going to be more Nudia on Radio Entrepreneurs as you'll be coming back again and meeting with Walter Sullivan, that is. He's our Up in Smoke reporter. We're gonna take a break, and we'll be right back after these messages on Radio Entrepreneurs.